All right, in this short video, I'm going to show you what are the top 5 marketing pitfalls that I've seen not only in my own business, but in people that I've coached across the country. So have a look. Okay, let's talk marketing pitfalls. Let's talk about some of the things that I see people doing wrong in this area most commonly. And first that comes to mind is not enough research or lack of research at all. You know, it's amazing to me that somebody will dive into a marketing initiative. They'll buy a marketing service, they'll buy a product, they'll buy a technology, and they don't even track, anything. They don't know what the research is. They'll dive right into mailing to a community and not even know what the turnover rate of that community is. They might be mailing to a community where there's less than 1% turnover rate. Probably not the best use of their time. Probably gonna be really hard to get an ROI on that. So you must do the research. And then the second biggest mistake I see is that people have too many pillars. They don't go deep on anything, meaning they got this pillar here, they never really quite got that set up and running properly, and then they added this other thing, and then they went to an event and they saw this other one over here and that looked really cool, so they got that. And then somebody that they met in that group said, you got to have this too. And all of a sudden they have 10, 15 different marketing pillars and none of them are being optimized. So focus on, start with 3. If you don't have 3 that are optimized that you're tracking the ROI on, get that. Then slowly add 1 at a time. Make sure that you're getting an ROI on it and have that budget to test. I want to make sure that I'm always testing new things. So I'm never staying complacent. I always believe that you have to be growing or you're dying. So I have my pillars that are defined that we're digging deep on and they're working well, but I'm always trying new things, but I try very slowly. And I'm not just getting a whole bunch of different new things here and just because they're new or flashy. I'm very diligent about, okay, what is that gonna do? Is that really gonna help me get more of the niche that I'm looking for or help me add a niche? And what's the USP that I'm gonna use with that? So be very specific about the pillars that you're gonna choose and go deep on them. And then it's a lack of investment I see. So somebody will say, I'm gonna try this marketing thing. I'm gonna try this mailing thing. I'm gonna try this newsletter. And then what happens all too often is that they don't put enough investment behind it. So maybe they try it for 1 month, 2 months, and they say, oh man, I spent money in month 1, I didn't get any return. I spent money in month 2, I didn't get any return, and they stop. But maybe for that specific pillar, they have to understand that it's gonna take 12 months to see a return. And they have to be committed to that on the front end. So one problem I see is just too little investment. You have to know what the investment looks like on the front end going into it and be willing to make that investment and track that ROI long term. And then it's inconsistent effort. So going back to the example of, let's say, a newsletter. They want to do a newsletter, they believe in a newsletter, they heard newsletters were great, and they're gonna do a newsletter to a geographic farm. Well, they mailed it 1 month, and then this month's Christmas, and they just got busy, so they didn't do it. Next month's the new year, and they had new year planning stuff that they got sidetracked on, they didn't do it. But then February, they got after it again. So they did it in February, and then March they did it, and then May they had a big giant company event, and they just didn't have time or resources to do it. And then June, July, and August was the summer, and that got away from them. And then they're back to September, and they're like, all right, September, I'm gonna do it. That kind of inconsistency is rarely gonna produce a predictable ROI. You have to be very consistent with your marketing and be willing to do it consistently over the long term and track it to get the results that you're gonna need. Very rarely do I ever see a marketing pillar work when it's not done consistently. And then ROI is unknown, meaning they don't track it. And I think that once you know your ROI, it becomes very easy for you to make decisions to scale that marketing pillar up, to spend more investment on it, or to scale it down and ultimately maybe even get rid of it. But from month to month, you have to be tracking your ROI. It's what's gonna help you understand your business and the strength and success of your business and predictability moving forward. If you're not tracking your ROI when it comes to marketing, they say nothing happens to a sale is made. Well, no sales are gonna get made without marketing. And if you don't know your ROI on the marketing, your business is doomed. You're probably gonna be out of business if you don't start to get a grasp on that. So really focus on these pitfalls and make sure that you're avoiding them, because these are the most common ones I see when I'm working with people out there like you. All right, now that you've seen that, let me know, be honest, which one of those are you guilty of? Which one feels like it's the biggest challenge for you right now? Comment below.